Howdy, I'm Skylar from the Z Show here on 90.9 The Bridge. Today I have the pleasure of talking with Claud, who just released their debut record, Super Monster, this past February via Phoebe Bridgers' new label, Satisfactory. Claud, thank you so much for coming to say hi.
Howdy. I like that. I'm going to start saying that.
Oh, good, please. So I wanted to start off with a quick game of over-under, just to keep things fresh, you know.
Ooh,
Have
cool.
you ever played?
No, but I've always wanted to, so this is fun.
Heck yeah, awesome. So for you and folks who don't know, I'm just going to bring up a topic and you'll just say whether it's over or underrated and why.
Cool.
All right, so the first up, we have turtles. Thoughts, comments, concerns?
Underrated, always. Turtles are always underrated. They're so cool. They can live to be like 100 or more, and some of them live in the water, some of them live on land. We can't do that. It's pretty cool.
True. They got it all.
Yeah, they've got it going for them.
All right, next up we have socks and Crocs, or I mean Crocs and socks, whichever you prefer.
I just pictured like a sock over a Croc. I think it's good to wear socks with your Crocs. I'm gonna say underrated because you know when your like feet get sweaty in your Crocs and they like smell and slip around, it's gross.
Definitely.
It's good to wear socks with your Crocs.
For sure. Definitely agreed. Next up, we have toast.
Oh, easy. Also underrated.
Awesome. How do you usually take your toast?
I like jam or yeah, I'll put like jam and like blackberries on it.
Ooh, that sounds lovely.
Yes, best.
And lastly, this one's a little bit out of left field, but I feel like it's necessary. How do you feel about Guy Fieri's fashion?
Overrated.
I think he rocks it. I think he can get away with it.
I think he rocks it too, but I think people talk about it too much.
For sure. You know, I think you're right.
I don't think we need to talk about it.
It's already all been said.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you. That was a blast. This stunning album, Super Monster, is full of big bops and big bangers. In the past, you've mentioned wanting to wait to make an album until you have something to say, and have actually gone on to describe how an artist's first album is as raw and shaky as their first words. And now that your first record, Super Monster, has been out in the world for around a month and a half, how are you feeling about these first words?
I think they're pretty cool first words. Some songs I'm like, I can't stand to listen to anymore. Like I've listened to them a million times, you know, like and not that because I don't love them, but just because I feel like I can sing them in my sleep, you know?
For sure.
And then there's other songs that are still like really resonating with me and that I still go back to, and I'm like, wow, like when I wrote this, I thought I was writing about this, but now I see it in this way, and it applies to my life in a whole new way, like 6 months later, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, I'm still feeling pretty good about it.
That's awesome. Is there any specific one that you're particularly resonating with today?
I think I'm really resonating with Pepsi today.
Nice.
Yeah, preparing for my weekend. Pepsi's like a really fun song.
Definitely. So for folks who haven't yet heard the album, how should people first hear Super Monster? And like this can be an actual physical place and or, you know, emotional space.
I think this is the type, in terms of a physical space, yeah, in your car, at the beach, even though I hate the beach, in a park, I don't know, physical space, go for it, you know?
In
terms of like mental space or emotional space, I think it's the type of album where if you want to dive deep into it, you can. And there is a lot of emotional depth to it, but it's not gonna jump it out at you. You need to look for it and you need to find it yourself. So if you just want to listen to it casually, it's not going to like trigger anything in you. Like you can listen to it casually. And then but if you're in the emotional, if you have the emotional capacity to dive in and to unpack the lyrics a little bit more, that's fine too.
For sure. I love that duality that it does have, for sure. I think that's wonderful and super unique to your music as well.
Thanks.
Also, why do you not like the beach? I'm just curious.
The sand gets everywhere. The ocean, it's so big and scary. Like, what do you even wear to the beach? I've never looked good at the beach. I don't know.
It's true. I feel you. The beach, the ocean is scary for sure.
Ocean is so big and so scary.
So you mixed this record at Electric Lady, and you've talked about being able to hear your album in a space like that on big speakers in a big room outside of like headphones. What was it like to hear it in that kind of prolific setting?
I'm like stroking my non-existent beard right now. I do that all the time. It was so cool because okay, most of the album was just like written with my headphones or like on monitors that were not nearly as good,
Yeah.
So walking into a room at Electric Lady was like, first off, such a surreal experience because I've been wanting to go in there for so long.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, I can't believe that they're letting me in the doors right now. Like, are you sure? Was there a mix up? Do you think I'm somebody else? Like, I don't know. I was like really shocked. But yeah, I like went and we mixed there for 4 days, 3 days. And I just loved every second of it. Hearing the songs on those speakers for the first time was like so surreal. I tried to think of all the other amazing songs that were written there and have been through those monitors as well. And I was like, whoa, this is so crazy. But yeah, it was just such a great experience. I'm just so grateful for it.
Yeah, talk about iconic. That's really cool.
Thanks.
Now, did I see that you actually have Daniel Johnston's drawing of Claud the Super Monster now, which the album's name was based off of?
Yes, I have it.
Yay!
Yeah. Phoebe gifted it to me actually. So I was eventually gonna buy it for myself. And I was like saving up for it. But then she gave it to me when my album came out.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
So, in an interview, when asked to describe your album in 3 words, you said green, blue, yellow, and I really loved that. What made you decide on those colors for Super Monster?
So my hair's been green and blue for a while now. Probably like over a year. It's been like some shade of these 2 colors. I originally wanted to do it because I remember like I had this window in my old apartment, and it was really, I always thought it was like really special because I live in New York, but my window oversaw a courtyard, which was like really rare for New York. And there was this like really pretty tree growing under my window. And so on like really sunny days, and if I was like laying in my bed at the right angle, all like half the window was green and then the other half was blue from the sky. So it was like tree, sky, and that's all I could see. And like every day last summer, it was just that. And I really loved that. And I was like, oh, I need to make my hair look like that. So that's, or no, maybe that was like 2 summers ago. But yeah, so that's how that started with like green and blue. And then the yellow was actually supposed to be gold originally because of the song Gold. But like gold, yellow, like they're very different, but I think the shade of yellow that I use in like my illustrations could be considered gold as well. So yeah, it was like the green and blue, and then I make I draw a bunch of tiny stars in my illustrations a lot, and that are yellow, gold. So yeah.
Definitely. Well, cool. That's awesome. I love the art that you did for it, and I think Daniel would be proud.
Thank you. Wow, that's a really nice compliment.
So this record is about self-love and learning how to love yourself even when you don't always necessarily feel like you deserve it. You've talked a little bit about how growth and progress in that area and in general isn't linear, which I think is really wonderful. How have you come to that sort of realization, and then does it relate to your approach with music at all?
Yeah, completely. I think I went through a period in my life where I was so frustrated with myself, because I felt like I was like backtracking all the time,
Yeah.
like emotionally, yeah, like mainly like emotionally and physically. It just like felt like my health was backtracking. Like I would take like, it felt like I was taking one step forward and then two steps back all the time. And I'm like, why? Like, it's only me that this happens to. Like, why? And then I realized it's not. And like, it's a it's a really naive thing to think that growth is linear, and to think that, things will always get better. And, if it's really bad right now, it's definitely going to get better, like, and that's true. Things do get better, but it doesn't happen right away. And when I was like looking at these songs, and I was like, some albums tell a story from start to finish. Like some albums you can listen along, and the relationship grows and then comes together, like, but I feel like with my album, every song is like, there's one song that's like F you, you weren't there for me. And then the next song is like, I love you so much, blah, 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 And I think that's like a really real representation of like what it actually is like to have any sort of relationship, any sort of friendship, any sort of romantic partner. Like, it's just not one way or one linear way. So.
Yeah, super fluid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that answer. It's really good. So, over the course of your life, you've moved around a lot, not only due to touring, but also for your personal life, traveling between parents' houses and at one point in time for school, spending a lot of time in cities like Chicago, New York, and LA. How has moving around a lot contributed to your music and just overall personal growth?
I think it really ingrained in me that like not to be afraid of change.
That's a hard one.
Yeah, it's a super hard one. I used to resist change so much, but I don't anymore. And I really embrace it now. I really enjoy moving around. And I think like with music, I'll start a song, and if it's not exactly the direction that I thought it was going to go in, like instead of fighting that and trying to like bring it back to the genre I was trying to go for, or the sound I was trying to go for, I'd sort of just like follow the song and follow my ear and just embrace whatever's happening, as opposed to trying to change it and mold it.
And go with the flow.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's great. And I also really loved the music video for Soft Spot with you in the back of the moving van. I thought that was really fitting.
Yeah.
And in a few of your earlier music videos for songs like Wish You Were Gay and Never Meant to Call, you tied a balloon to, was it a sandwich or was it bread?
It was toast.
It was toast. Nice. Full circle.
Yeah.
I was really curious where the origin of that came from.
So I was in a duo with, basically I have this side project called Shelly, and it's a bunch of my friends and I that I met in Syracuse when I was there for college for a year. And when I was there, one of the members of Shelly, his name is Josh, him and I actually started a duo together before the Claud project called Toast. And like we would play like house shows and a bunch of like DIY venues in upstate New York. And then Toast sort of just became Claud became my project because Josh like wanted to stay in school, and I wanted to like try touring, see what happened. But yeah, so the first song I put out not as Toast was Never Meant to Call. And it was like sort of me announcing like, my name isn't Toast anymore, now it's just gonna be Claud, and it's just me. And so the director and I came up with this idea that I was gonna like tie a couple pieces of toast to a balloon as this like metaphor for letting it go.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah. And people were like really confused by that and like did not understand what that meant. and we thought that was funny, so we did it again for a video.
That's great. That's solid. And also I want to mention that I've listened to your friend Josh's new single that's out. It's so good.
I know, JDM Global. So good.
Bop it. And going back a little bit to your music videos, I feel like a lot of your songs and music videos are super like cinematic. And as I know you're a fan of rom-coms and coming of age movies, and I just was really curious what your all-time favorite classic romantic gesture was.
Romantic gesture?
Yeah.
Throwing rocks at the window.
Perfect. Yes. I love that song off the album as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Super Monster encompasses a lot of, these kinds of relationships and themes surrounding relationships, both romantic and not, with people and places. As someone who is so observant of relationships in your own life and has witnessed a lot of what makes them go right and what makes them go wrong, what's the best relationship advice you've kind of come to learn?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
Best relationship advice. I don't know. I think
it's hard.
Yeah, that's really hard. I don't think I've gotten a lot of relationship advice.
Yeah.
Oh God. Maybe like, I don't know. I think I'm a pretty good listener. I think like listening to other people, like, and I think you can tell how much somebody loves you or likes you based on how much they listen, like they really listen to what you're saying.
For sure. That's so true.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, definitely like communication, but also receiving that communication and like hearing that for sure.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool. So switching gears a little bit, in this album, you've made a habit of stepping outside of yourself, whether that be through examining different perspectives or creating a whole new persona, like in your song Anna. And I was really curious what draws you to that mode of creativity.
I think I'm like, sometimes I get this urge where it's like, if I don't make something right now, like I'm going to explode, like,
yeah.
And I've gotten that since I was like a kid, and it's such a hard feeling to explain because I remember like trying to explain it to my mom, being like, Mom, like like you need to leave me alone right now. Like I'm creating. I'm gonna be like 9 years old. Like go in the other room, mother. Like I need my space, but like I used to express that, and like I used to like rearrange my room, like the furniture in my room.
Oh yeah.
Just to like, like I'd be like, after a few months, I'd be like sick of my bed in one corner, like really want to see what it looks like in that corner, and then I would like rearrange everything, and I think that sort of started like my need to my like desire for change and my desire to like try new things and like constantly make the space around me stimulating creatively, and yeah, it's just like this like really random urge I get in it, and I can channel it into any art form as long as I'm doing something.
That's really cool. Is there any sort of like art form that you kind of did before you started going into music stuff?
Yeah. Oh, actually before music? I don't think so. I think music was like my first sort of creative approach. I really liked writing though growing up.
Yeah. Did you write like, was it always songs or was it like short stories and poems and things like that?
I used to write like short stories. I was like a chronic liar when I was a kid. Like I would like walk into the room when I was younger and be like, so grandma like bought an IHOP and she lived on the roof. And this is like a lie that I would tell people all the time. Like my grandma lives in the woods in an abandoned IHOP. And my mom would be like, that's just not true. Like, why are you telling us this? And I just used to like make up these stories and just like tell them to people as if they were like real.
That's wonderful. That's a very creative one. Grandma lives in IHOP.
Yeah, I would like tell people that.
Yeah.
No one believed me because it was like really ridiculous, but I was like 7 and be like, yup.
That's awesome. And it's actually really funny you mentioned that because my grandma lives in Waffle House.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Small world.
Yeah, maybe we should get together, maybe play some bingo or something.
Yeah, they'd be friends.
So you've discussed that your music is about figuring out what kind of makes you whole as a person, and you sometimes let the music speak for the song, and then others you let the lyrics do all the talking. And that being said, from Super Monster, what specific lyrical part and what instrumental part made you immediately go like, yeah, wow, okay, this is like exactly what I want to say?
Ooh. Like what specific song?
Yeah, or like even a part that you like immediately finished or like, you know, figured out and you're like, wow, like this is it.
I think such a good question. In or in between was one of those for me. Like I felt like I actually eventually like sent it to the person that I wrote it about. But I had so many like confused feelings, and I was confused about the person's feelings for me. Like everything was so unclear and it felt like really foggy.
Mm-hmm.
I think I did a really good job for myself personally, just like laying everything out on the table and being like, you know, like we were at this party or this bar and you were aching to leave the whole time, and that made me feel like you didn't want to be there. You know, like just like I was almost like playing detective, you know.
That's really cool. And when you sent it to them, did that clear things up or help clear things up at all?
I sent it to them after we had like established our feelings.
Oh, nice. Right
Because
on.
I was like, I'm not brave enough to like send it to them before.
Yeah, for sure. Understandable. Well, cool. I love that song as well. I love every single song on this album. I'm just gonna say that right now.
I see your La 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 vinyl back there. Super cool. Great album.
I'm so glad you dig it. I dig it too. It's such a bop. I also have like your album like right over there.
Cool.
So I know you're not a major fan of genre labels, which I love, and your music encompasses a wide range of genres, but you once described your sound as pop music that goes well with a late night snack. And I just really wanted to know, what's your go-to late night snacky?
Ooh, good question. I really like leftovers.
Oh, yeah.
Anything I had for dinner that night, I'll always like save a little bit of it so I could eat it later in the night. Like,
is it better later?
It's always better cold. Food is like the best when it's cold.
Ooh, so you're like a cold pizza person.
Yeah, I am a cold pizza person.
Nice. Right on. Mm-hmm. Well, cool. I know last night you had a show on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
How was it? How was it like actually playing live?
It was so fun. Oh my god. Well, okay. It was obviously weird because we played at a venue. We played at a music venue in Brooklyn Steel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a venue that I've been wanting to play at for so long. It's like a huge venue. And we played to nobody. Like there was nobody in the audience, of course, because of COVID. And oh my god, sorry. This dog keeps farting me.
Oh,
and it
no.
smells, wait, I don't think you can see here, but it smells so bad. Okay. Sorry.
No, you're good. What's her name?
Her name's Joni.
Aw, cutie.
It smells great, but her farts smell lethal. But anyways, yeah, so we played to this empty venue and it was all live streamed on Twitch, but I think like it was the first time I played like most of the songs on Super Monster, which was like really cool and really fun. And yeah, it was just like really surreal. But I think like the coolest part was that most of the people who worked there like hadn't been back at the venue in like a year.
Oh, wow.
Because of COVID. So it was like their first show back and everybody was like, this is so wild, this is so weird, like, hey John, you know, like it was so fun. And yeah, that was really fun. It was a really great day.
Oh, yay. I'm so glad. I'm so glad with like the potential of live shows happening again soon. And, you know, with that potential, is there anything that you kind of want to see change or see more of in the show going and show playing scene?
Ooh, I mean, yeah, I'm really, I think earlier this summer, a lot of people were coming forward about being harassed at shows
Yeah.
by either like band members or audience members. And I feel like the security that is present at shows don't make people feel any more safe. It's usually just like cops, you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm really hoping to sort of figure out a way or work with other people in the industry to let like either like a wristband situation or some sort of technique to make people of like marginalized genders feel safer at shows, because it really can get really scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think also like we're also used to being home, that like being in a space like a concert is going to feel even more vulnerable in whenever that happens again. So yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot.
Yeah, I think those are all things that definitely need to happen for sure. I've only got one more question for you.
Cool.
What's been the funnest part of making this project hip and happen?
The funnest part has been, I really, really liked just showing people my artwork, and like, because I never really posted my artwork before. It was always just like fun things I did for myself. But like posting my drawings and like putting little Easter eggs in there that like pop up in music videos or on my website, and that like only some people notice, has been like really fun.
Ooh, I love it. That's awesome. And I do love that you did your own art. It's so great.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Claude, for taking the time to talk with me here on 90.9 The Bridge about you and your amazing new record, Super Monster, that came out this February via Satisfactory. I appreciate it. I really appreciate this album, and I so appreciate you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was really fun.
Yeah, of course, anytime.